How's it going, everyone? Welcome to Sports Throwback Thursday, and we're gonna try something different since the NBA postseason is here. Instead of talking about one game, I'm gonna do a whole summary of the 1994 NBA playoffs, first round between the Utah Jazz and San Antonio Spurs, number 4 seed versus number 5 seed. Both teams were very good, talented roster. But the Jazz, in a way, they came into the series as the underdog. In game one, the Spurs they played outstanding. Jazz offense they were struggling. The only person that was in rhythm for Utah was Karl Malone. He finished the game with 36 points. But San Antonio they had 5 players with double figures. Cummings he had about 19 points, 10 rebounds in 19 minutes. David Robinson obviously led the team with 25 points. Rodman had 11 rebounds. The Spurs led as many as 27 points in game one, so they won that game by the final score of 106-89. This series was a very physical series. I mean, in game one, John Stockton and David Robinson got into it. Jerry Sloan he got ejected, so the Jazz lost that game, but they were not gonna go away quietly without some spark, without some fight. So, and in this series, you saw that a lot. But that was game one. Let's see what happened in game two. In game two, the Spurs they continued doing what they were doing. They had a good first quarter, but then all of a sudden everything changed in game two. The Jazz, they just picked them apart. I don't know what happened to San Antonio, but they went through about like 18 or 19 straight. Um, it was about 18 or 19 um, that they went without making a field goal. It was really that bad, and the Jazz just took advantage of it. They just kept piling on them. The largest lead of the game that Utah led was about 30 points. They ended up winning 96-84. But it was a great victory by the Jazz. I mean, game two and game three, Jazz completely dominated San Antonio. I'll get into game three in a few. Game two, like I said, the physical was still there. The chippiness, the arguing was still there. In game two, Tom Chambers, he got ejected from the game. Dennis Rodman, he also got ejected after a cheap shot on John Stockton, which John Stockton from the bench, he was talking smack. And because of that, Rodman, like I said, he got ejected and he got suspended for game three. Which leads me to game three. Game three. The Jazz won that game 105-72. It was a beatdown. The most they led that game was 26. Jazz, they absolutely dominated San Antonio in fast break situations. Karl Malone outplayed David Robinson. And it was even much more tougher for San Antonio because they didn't have Dennis Rodman, who's a great defender and a great rebounder. So, yeah, that was game three. Games two and three was all Utah. All Utah. San Antonio had no answer for them. And San Antonio, they had a good team because, it was led by David Robinson. But he has some good role players with him. Dale Ellis, who was underrated. Cummings, Dennis Rodman. Vinny Del Negro was also a good role player as well. So San Antonio had a good squad, before Tim Duncan arrived. But they just couldn't get over the hump. And Utah in the playoffs in the 90s, they took down San Antonio in 94, in 96, and in 98. And 94 was the beginning of Karl Malone's just, dominating David Robinson. Game four was the best game of the series. There was no blowout. It was tight, and it came down to the wire. When I think about that game four of the 94 playoffs, I think about John Stockton. He took over the fourth quarter with his playmaking ability. He had about like 13, 14 assists in that quarter alone. And John Stockton is the quintessential point guard because he doesn't. His main focus is on um, facilitating and playing great defense. And he's not like nowadays point guards are more like shooting guards. I would say, but John Stockton was a true point guard in that regard. Um, so yeah, he took over the fourth quarter. That crowd was loud, insane, especially in that fourth quarter. And San Antonio, they had a chance to tie the game, but Jazz defense stepped up. The game ended on a steal, and they went on to score. So the Utah Jazz won this series 3 games to 1 because at that time it was the best of 5 series. Nowadays it's best of 7 series in the first round. So, but this was a very good old school physical series. Karl Malone, Dennis Rodman, I love their battles. And yeah, I wish games 1 through 3 could have been better, but game 4 was the best one of them all. And like I said, this was the first of many more meetings that they would face. They would face off in 96 and 98, like I said. But Utah, they were just complete in control. And those games 2 and 3, pure dominance. I mean, God bless YouTube. They have the entire game, games 1 through 4, there. So if you want to check it out, go check it out. Because there's nothing like good old school basketball, especially in the postseason. Thank you for watching this video. Please hit that thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And as always, be safe. And may God bless you all.